Alright all, and welcome back to a new video. It's obviously been a little bit of time between the York Festival and now, but it's the Irish Champions weekend this weekend and I couldn't let this one fire by without doing a video for it. Obviously a massive shame that this year I won't be able to go up to Leopardstown on the Saturday and down to the Curragh on Sunday. You know, those are two of the greatest days of flat action you're going to get throughout the calendar year, and this year it doesn't look any different. The standard of racing is still just as high, if not higher than usual, and it'll be very interesting to see. The only time I've been able to record this video is Thursday afternoon, so I suppose if you're seeing this, later on in the week, the declarations for Saturday have come out, but not even that many of the races have been priced up. And then the declarations for Sunday haven't been confirmed just yet. So you're just going to have to bear with me a little bit on some of those ones. If I'm putting up horses that end up getting withdrawn, I do apologise. I'll have the selections in the description as always. And also for the races that haven't been priced yet, I will put up the price that I take when they come out. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through Leopardstown on the Saturday first, then we're going to cover the St. Leger over in Doncaster. That's the only race over in England I'm going to cover, and then the Sunday action at the Curragh. So overall it's around 8 or 9 races. Starting off in Leopardstown on the Saturday with the 3:10, the Matron Stakes, and it looks a pretty good race. Fancy Blue and Peaceful trading blows at the top of the market, so it seems. Fancy Blue 7-4, Peaceful more 2-1, 9-1, 2-1, 9-4. And obviously they have very close form tied in from the Prix de Diane where Alpine Star split them. It's very interesting how they'll go against each other over a mile. But I'm going to take a chance, and it might be last chance saloon on Albigna in this race. She's been priced up at 6-1. I think that's fair. It's probably just about big enough to be an each-way price as well. I just think overall between these three fillies, a mile might see her to best effect. And I just looked back at her reappearance run when she was second behind the Joseph O'Brien horse, Sundering Knights, was it? I think that's the name of the horse. At the Curragh, and it was an alright run. She travelled into the race really smoothly, and you thought kind of, when will she pick up over 9 furlongs, and she kind of didn't, and ended up flatlining and came second. At the time I was disappointed by it. I thought she'd win that day and hopefully go on to better things, but I'm going to take the very, very forgiving nature that she'll have needed that run. I think certainly I'd be taking on Peaceful. Aidan O'Brien has given her a summer break, and I'm sure has, a few races plotted out for her over a mile or a mile 2 furlongs, fillies races in the autumn, and this was going to be a first race, and he's often got fillies beat, including the likes of a Winter even quite recently that's having their first of their autumn campaign. So I'd leave her be. Fancy Blue is a big danger. Step back to a 1 mile, I'm not sure would see her to maybe maximum effect. And this is my reasoning with going with Albigna. Brilliant 2-year-old form in the book. Yes, she hasn't been able to produce as a 3-year-old. It probably is last chance in terms of the cliff, but I'm well willing to give her that one more go in the Matron. The Matron sometimes can throw up a bit of a surprise winner, if we're being honest. Lawrence beat Alpha Centauri, and Hydrangea beat Winter, to name just 2 very recently. The 340 is the Juvenile Stakes over a mile. I remember Mahmoon winning this race 2 years ago. He was absolutely superb. It's been a shame that he hasn't quite ended up fulfilling what it looked like he might be able to do when he won this race, beating Broome, I think, by 3.5 lengths in the process. This is one of these races that at the moment hasn't been priced since the declarations have come in, and a horse I do believe will be probably near the top of the market, but I will be backing is Cadillac, again for the Jesse Harrington and Shane Foley combination, which you'll probably become used to. You'll know I back a fair few of them, but I do really like this Cadillac. He looked a really, really good horse when winning on debut at Leopardstown over 7 furlongs by 9 lengths. Now, not many maidens at Leopardstown get won by 9 lengths. He then was second in the Futurity last time out to a Jim Bulger horse called McSwinney. That was a bit of a disappointment, being beaten by the Jim Bulger horse, who's pulled out of the bag a few very big prize winners in group races this year, has Jim Bulger. I gonna put that down to the fact that maybe he needs the extra furlong rather than 7 furlongs, and maybe a bit of better ground will see him to better effect. Apparently he's one of these horses that didn't show much early as a 2-year-old, so hopefully there's still improvement to come from him, and I think he's a really good horse. I'm not sure about the price. I'd say he'll be near the top of the market, but I will be backing him. The 410 is the Irish Champion Stakes, and it's brilliant to see Ghaiyyath come over and take up this engagement. He's a seriously good horse. It's a real shame we can't go up and see Ghaiyyath in the flesh. I'd have loved to have done that, but these things happen. He's 8 to 11, best price at the moment. I think that's actually not a bad price, to be honest. I do think he's the most likely winner in the race. I see Ryan Moore has chosen to ride Japan over Magical. Now, this is interesting. It means the two prices are both similar enough. They're kind of 9 to 2, 4 to 1. You guys know I've fallen off the cliff and back with Japan, and I'm not a massive fan of Magical. So before I heard that Ryan Moore news, I would have put up a bet. You know, if you can, sometimes with these weird match bets on Paddy Bear and stuff like that for Japan to beat Magical, I'd say, I don't know, I think I might leave it at this stage and just watch the race. I think Ghaiyyath's the most likely winner, but it wouldn't surprise me. And if I was backing a forecast or betting without, I would back Japan. It wouldn't surprise me if he ran a good race and came second. Or potentially even beat Ghaiyyath on a really good day. But based off what Ghaiyyath's done this year so far, it'd be hard-pressed to think anything's going to beat him. The 445 is the Boomerang Mile, of course, over a mile, and I'm going to take a chance on an English raider in this. Again, another race that hasn't been priced up in Safe Voyage for John Quinn. Colin Keane takes the ride. He's the absolute man you want on board for a spare like this. 7-year-old Gelding has been really good this year. He's won 2 out of 4. The only 2 times he's been beaten has been by Space Blues, who's absolutely transformed himself as a seriously good horse. I think he won the Prix Maurice de Geest for Charlie Appleby this year. He's mostly known for his 7 furlong exploits, though, this horse. He runs predominantly over 7 furlongs, including last time in winning the City of York Stakes, beating one master by 3.5 lengths. That was a Group 2 contest. This is a Group 2 contest as well. I think he's got a massive chance. He was third on his last 1 mile start in the QE2 at the back end of last year under Jamie Spencer. I think he'll be ridden. He was ridden cold that day. He can get on with it over 7 furlongs. It'd be interesting to see the tactics, actually. I wouldn't be sure how they'll ride him. I think Century Dream's probably his biggest danger, a fellow English raider. This is a race that the English have a good record in the last few years. The likes of Soudois won it for David O'Mara. Space Traveller won it last year. So it's a race that can go back over to England from Ireland, and I think Safe Voyage will run a big race in this, to be honest. I'd be really disappointed if he can't put up a good showing for himself. The only race over in England that I'll be covering, and I'm seeing as much note, is the St. Leger, which is obviously 3:35 at Doncaster on Saturday over a mile 6. It's a race I can't really make head nor tail of at the top of the market. I think all of them have a chance, but I've decided to go for one at a big price, hopefully get 4 places on the day, in the shape of Mohican Heights at 33 to 1 for David Simcock and Jamie Spencer. This horse won a maiden for Fozzie Stack before going over to be trained by David Simcock. He won the Stonehenge Stakes over a mile, beating Subjectivist by 2 lengths. Subjectivist is 12 to 1 for this race. Mohican Heights is 33 to 1. He then returned when third behind Pile Driver at Royal Ascot, in front of the likes of Mogul that day, beaten only 4 lengths. He was gaining at the line in my eyes. It kind of took an age to get going. He looked like he might come 6th or 7th turning in and kind of stayed on quite promisingly. And like a few, he was just never sighted in the Derby. He kind of stumbled out of the gates. His race was over. And, you know, that's all she wrote, really. He was a big price. He came, I think, 3rd last or 4th last, and hasn't been seen since. It's a bit of a punt, but I was just looking through his breeding, and it's very interesting to see. He's obviously by Australia. Australia sired Sir Ron Priestley last year, who came quite close in a Leger. And the Dam Mohican Princess has been the dam of the likes of Curb Your Enthusiasm and Eye of the Storm, both mile 6 and 2 mile performers. So there's definite kind of encouragement to take from the breeding that a mile 6 actually could see this horse to pretty good effect. You know, with Jamie Spencer on board, the horse will be ridden cold, it'll be ridden to come home and pick up pieces. I don't know, it mightn't be good enough to get to the principals in the market, but I just think he's a big price given some of his collateral form, beating Subjectivus as a 2-year-old, only 4 lengths behind Pile Driver when gaining at the line, in my eyes, at Royal Ascot. 33 to 1, massive price in my eyes. Moving on to Sunday at the Curragh, starting off with the Flying 5 Stakes, 5 furlong race, Group 1 affair. And one you know I'm going to put up is Make a Challenge, a horse I absolutely adore. For Dennis Hogan, Joe Doyle more than likely will take the ride if this horse runs. He's a 5-year-old gelding. He's just a remarkably good revelation of a horse, to be honest. He won heaps of handicaps last year and transformed himself into a group horse, and he's run 4 from 6 this year. The last 2 times have been very good. He beat Downforce by 4 lengths at the Curragh over 6 furlongs before beating Urban Beat by a half length at Naas last time out when bungling the stalls. So that's a very good form in the book. Urban Beat has gone and respected himself at Doncaster earlier this week. He might be a tad short at Group 1 level, I do admit that, but I just don't know about some of these challengers, to be honest. The Curragh is his home ground, and I think 9 to 2 with William Hill just seems a massive price. He's 11 to 4, 9 to 4 in other bookmakers. 9 to 2 I think is a massive price, and I can't see him being out of the frame. 9 to 2 is a small price. I wouldn't be recommending it each way. I will be back and Make a Challenge probably on the nose. He'd have to go out to more 6 to 1 to be back him each way, but I think he's got a massive chance. He does love the Curragh. The Moyglare Stakes over 7 furlongs. It's interesting to see, again, another one I can't really get my head around the price on William Hill is Mother Earth, who is 12 to 1 with William Hill. I don't know whether she'll run or not, but if she does run, she'll be my selection. 12 to 1 is a great each-way price if that's the case. I think she'll run a race, obviously provided she'll be there. I think she's a quite solid horse. She was obviously 3rd in the Albany at Ascot, 3rd in the debutante last time out behind Pretty Gorgeous, who's the evens favourite. I thought she ran well and she was staying on at the line, which would make you think there might be one of these races in her. Aidan O'Brien's obviously a master with these fillies, and it wouldn't surprise me if this horse was to outrun her 12 to 1 odds. The 7 furlong National Stakes is the Moyglare equivalent for colts, and I will be looking no further than Lucky Vega at 11 to 4 for Jesse Harrington and Shane Foley. This horse put in one of the best 2-year-old performances, if not the best 2-year-old performances of the year, when beating the Learjet by 3.5 lengths in the Phoenix Stakes. Now, bear in mind the Learjet won the Norfolk Stakes at Royal Ascot. I thought that was a mind-blowing performance, having been pipped in the Railway last time. The time previous to that by Laws of Indices. I think he was just a bit unlucky that day. He just got collared late. Previous to that, he'd beaten Lipizzaner and Battleground in an Ace Maiden at the start of the season. Obviously, Battleground has come on leaps and bounds since then, and Lucky Vega does have to prove that 7 furlongs is within range, but I just can't see him being not bang there, to be honest. As I say, I thought it was a mind-blowing performance last time out. Battleground, he's a horse I haven't taken to at all, to be honest. He could be a really good horse, and maybe I'm just being stubborn about it, but I think the form of both Ascot and Goodwood for him isn't good, to be perfectly honest. I think the form of Master of the Seas is just as good, if not better, and obviously those two seem to be the main market rivals. But I'm going to take a chance on Lucky Vega. He does have stamina to prove, but I think he's a really good horse, and I'd love to see him put in another monster performance. The Irish St. Leger, a mile 6 furlong race. Obviously, it is because it's a St. Leger, and I'm going to take a chance. I don't know for certain whether he'll come over or not, but Fujaira Prince for Roger Varian. If he does come over, you'd assume Andrea Azzini will come over and ride him. He's 4 to 1 at the moment with William Hill, 10 to 3 with Paddy Power. He's an extremely progressive handicapper. He ran away with a mile 6 handicap at the Royal Ascot meeting before winning the Ebor only 2 weeks ago. at York. The Ebor win was off 108. That win has brought him up to a mark of 114. So he actually only has £1 to fine with Twilight Payment and £3 with Sovereign. Sovereign's a bit of an in and out horse. He does have the ability, but I wouldn't be, just able to trust him that much. And Twilight Payment is a really solid horse. He's a great stick of a horse, but he is what he is, and I'd like to think that there's a little bit more improvement still to come from Fujaira Prince. He is the improver of the lineup and hopefully can go very close. So that just leaves off a nap of the weekend, and a horse we have had previous experience of winning on with a nap of the weekend on one of these videos before is Patrick Sarsfield, and he runs at Leopardstown in the 5:15 on Saturday, the Group 3 mile 4 furlong race. It's a race that hasn't been priced up yet, I'm afraid. Again, I would say be within the first 2 or 3 in the market, to be honest. He's won 3 times in Ireland this year, culminating in winning the Group 3 Mel Stakes, which was the one we napped him up for. I think we napped him up at 9-2, and he went off 5-2, won very impressively. He then went over to Germany and was third in a Group 1 behind Barney Roy over 10 furlongs. He steps up to 12 furlongs for the first time, but the way he runs, you'd think like he's going away at the finish an awful lot of the time. That he should be able to take this step up in trip in hand. And I do think he should run a very good race. It'll be interesting to see whether Tiger Moth takes him on or not. He's been initially declared. I don't know whether he'll go through with that engagement or not. But that'll be a fascinating race if that's the case, and possibly will give us a little bit of a better price on Patrick Sarsfield. Declan McDonough in the saddle for Joseph O'Brien. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you guys do have some strong views for the weekend. If you do so, please do leave them in the comments down below. Let me know who your big fancies are for the big races. And of course, if you did enjoy it, do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below if you're new around here. It's great to have you all on board. And until next time, where we'll be covering more previews, more reviews. Hope you stay safe, stay lucky, land a few bets, and I'll see you guys then. Cheers.